Good afternoon, one and all. This is Shruti Simhadri. Today I am going to discuss a topic called tables in HTML. In HTML, tables make it easy to lay out data, text, and even images in a grid. Tables are just like spreadsheets and they are made up of rows and columns. They are very frequently used by almost all web developers to arrange data in a tabular format. Almost all major sites on the web are using invisible tables to lay out the pages. The most important layout aspects that can be done with tables are divide the page into different sections, creating menus, adding interactive form fields, easy alignment of images that have been cut into smaller pieces, a simple way to allow text to be written in two or more columns next to each other. In HTML, tables are defined with a table tag. A table is divided into rows and each row is divided into data cells. Okay, so to divide a table into number of rows, we have to use a tag called tr tag. And if you want to divide a row into data cells, we have to use a tag called td. Here, td stands for table data and holds the content of a data cell. A td tag can contain text, links, images, lists, forms, other tables, and all. Now look into the example. For creating a table in HTML, we have to use a tag called table. If you want to provide table borders, the border attribute of table tag controls the appearance of the table border or lines. The default order is always 0. So if you do not specify a border attribute, the table is displayed without any borders. Sometimes this is useful, but most of the time you want the borders to be visible. Okay, so that's why I'm using border attribute here. After giving border attribute, you should mention the width of the borders. Okay, so here I'm using 2 as a border width. Okay, so then after if you want to provide a caption to the table or a title to the table, we should use a tag called caption. Caption. It is a good idea to add a title or caption to a table that describes the table data. To add a caption to the table, we should use the caption tag here. The caption tag must be inserted immediately after the table tag. The caption tag is supported in all major browsers. Okay, so now I'm going to prepare student list. So that's why I'm using text here, student list as a caption. Okay, so here caption is a paid tag. After writing the caption of a table, you should close that caption tag. Okay, so after that you are going to mention tr tag to create rows in a table. Okay, so the first row in a table is always having table headings That's why I'm using an attribute called th here. Okay, so th means table head. In this student list, I want to insert roll number as the first cell data. Okay, so after writing the table head in a first cell, you should close the th tag. If you want to write another table heading in the next cell, you should write th again, and here I'm going to represent student name. Okay, so after that again close th tag. Okay, so in my table I want to use only two columns. One is related to roll number and the other one is related to student name. So that's why I'm closing the tr tag also, because in a row I want to mention only two cell values. One is representing roll number of the student and the second one is representing the student name. Okay, so then after you can create another row for inserting table data. Okay, so that's why I'm using tr tag here. Okay, so now I'm going to represent table data now. So that's why I'm using td data here. Okay, so td means table data. Okay, so first you should mention roll number. Okay, so I'm considering roll number as 1 here. Okay, so after that close td tag. Then after use another td tag for representing the student name. Okay, so here I'm using the student name as Kiran. Okay, so after that close td tag. Okay, so the first data in a table was finished. That's why I'm closing tr tag here. Okay, so by this statement we are successfully created two rows. First row is related to table heading and the second row is related to table data. Okay, so after that close table tag. Okay, so let us execute or run this program. Okay, so this is what the table which we are creating from the above code. Okay, so and we will discuss some of the attributes which are related to the table tag in today's session. Okay, so if you want to provide background, color background to a table, so we make sure of using bg color in table tag. Okay, so bg color attribute applies background color to our tables. Okay, so here in this double quotes I'm going to write the color of background which I am going to apply for this table. Okay, so I'm going to apply yellow color to my table. Okay, so now run this program. Okay, so in this way we can get color backgrounds for our tables. Okay, so now I want to change border color to my table. Okay, so at the time I am make sure of using another attribute called border attribute, border color. So for changing border color of a table, we have to use an attribute called border color. Okay, so you can use any color name here. Okay, so here I am going to use the color name as blue. Let us check with that. Okay, so after executing or running this program, we can get color borders as blue and color background as yellow. And then we can also use an attribute called align for this table to arrange right, left or center. For that I am using align attribute. Align is equal to okay, so I want to align my table to the right of the web page. I'm using right attribute here. Okay, so the output will appear like this. And then if we want to change the height and width of a table, we can use attribute called height and width here in table tag. Okay, so if you want to change height, you may use height attribute for the table. Okay, so here I am mentioning 300 as the height value, and we can also change width of the table by using width attribute. That is equal to, I want to change width of my table to 300 pixels. Okay, so after this, run this program. Okay, so in the previous outcome, table appeared very small, but now with the help of this height and width attributes for a table, we can increase height as well as width of the table. These are some of the attributes which we are applied for table, and we are also having another attribute called cell spacing. Cell spacing specifies the space between the cells. Okay, so here I am using cell spacing attribute. Cell spacing attribute. This is going to specify the space between the cells. Okay, so here I am mentioning 10 as a cell space. Let us check with this code. Okay, so in the previous example there is no space between the cells, but whenever we are applying cell spacing attribute in the table, we may look at the change. And the next attribute which I am going to use here is cell padding. Cell padding specifies the space between the cell borders and their contents. Okay, so this is what cell padding. Okay, so here I am also applying cell padding as 20. Let us check with this code. Okay, so in the previous output, whatever the text we were written in cell, that was nearby the border, but after applying cell padding, cell borders and their contents are having space between them. Okay, so these are some of the attributes which we are used for tables, table tag. I think you may better understand with this example. Thank you.